Thanks for tapping in with 95 South TV, hosted by Ikon and KJ, bringing you the best news and media through the efforts of the community. We interview nonprofit organizations, business owners, school teachers, spiritual leaders, and anybody who has an impact in the community that has a remarkable backstory. These professionals that we bring on this show has a story that will wow you, that will knock your socks off. And with that being said, we want you to tune in, keep it locked. We want you to like, share, follow, and subscribe. Be a dedicated listener. Come in, and if you require to do an interview, you can definitely reach out to us at 95southpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you.
What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Ikon. And we're here on 95 South TV once again. First and foremost, I want to thank God for this opportunity because without him will be no us to be able to do these great interviews and have great people on here, have great conversations. So next I want to introduce my right hand man, your baby mama favorite co-host, you know what I'm saying? Mr. Jacob the Great himself. What's going on, brother?
Hey man, another day, another source. Got time to get it right, man. So as long as we breathe it, we got a chance to get it right. And I'm thankful to be on God's green earth.
Okay, well, go ahead and introduce this young woman, this young lady, this queen, so we can get this, this interview cracking.
Man, we have none other than Queen Miss K, the founder CEO of Neo Gold Entertainment. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so very much. Salute, Kings.
Salute, salute. So before we get into your story, um, who is Miss? Who is Queen Miss K? When people want to know who you are, so they can identify when they see your brand all over the place and being represented in different markets and stuff. So they definitely want to identify with the person who started the brand.
Yeah, I am the owner and operator of Neo Gold Entertainment, which is also known as Neo Gold Records. And also my brand, the thing that sticks out with my brand, unlike others, is that I follow initiatives such as mental health because I think that's very, very, very important, especially amongst the entertainment business and this industry. Um, People tend to lose their mind in this business and things begin to happen and things, so I really, really believe in the wellness of your mind first and foremost, so you can perform at your greatest ability that you're supposed to. Also, outside of mental health, I really promote stopping the violence. That's a We have too many of our people hurting and killing one another, and that's not what the culture is all about. We're supposed to be unified, protecting one another, teaching one another, each one teach one, and we're not doing such a good job. So these are things that I put together inside of the label in some form or fashion. And another thing, um, in these days and times, artist development has begun to be on this all-time low, where it's not such a big thing anymore to perhaps maybe I would take a risk and say the majority, but I myself personally totally still believe in artist development. So that's a thing over here.
Okay.
That's Miss K.
Okay. Miss K, the next year. Okay, so I'm glad you said this. So Miss K, now being the first Black Muslim woman to be the chief executive officer of a brand and a record label in the entertainment industry. Tell us about that.
Well, I began working in radio and started off as a publicist. And first of all, I come from the birth of hip hop, which by the way is in New York. And yeah, I've been around from the birth of hip hop, of what we call hip hop, more so, the culture of hip hop in itself and everything it represents. And so moving forward, I've had several opportunities to be on air. As I said, I started off as a publicist first, and then, I love to talk, and have great conversation. And so an opportunity came and they said, why don't you just get on air? So I created a show which was called The Queen's Corner with Miss K. And like yourselves, King, I was interviewing all sorts of people in our community from politicians to book authors to the average person on the street who's just trying to do something and need some exposure. And I like what you're doing. It could be a clothing line, you know um amongst household name artists as well. So my son actually began to have an interest in doing rap music, and me, with the experience and as long as I've been around, if this is the journey that he's really going to choose to get involved in, I felt to believe that I need to get involved with him, because I didn't want to just like put him out there to the wolves, you know. So I wanted to be involved, and my involvement turned into an idea of why don't I just create my own label instead of waiting to be on someone else's label. And then the other part of that is, as you've heard me mention about the wolves, some things I'm just not for and we're not going to tolerate over here. So if you create your own label, you can create your own rules and play by your own game. And I feel to believe, I'm just a hardworking, ambitious person, and I'm really a visionary. And we're gonna make our own rules over here. I'm not waiting to be invited, when we have God given talents over here. And you know how hard it is for the average person to just to try to connect to get to the reach of, you understand what I'm saying? And oftentimes that come with game. And what I don't like is when people just get over on people.
Right, 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 right.
I'm a person of integrity, of honesty. You know, it's hard out there for artists. The hard work and the effort and the finances that one may put into just one record, let alone an EP or album and what have you, and all that entails that goes with it. And then here come, Mojo over here on some hustle, trying to hustle these, and they desperate, they will they're at the mindset where, like, I'll do anything to get to where it is that they're trying to go, not knowing sometimes you gotta be careful when you say that word, anything, around here.
You're right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So, upon you starting your own label and you being a Muslim woman, um, how was that for you when people in the public eye understood that you started your label? because to me that's that's really impressive. And when I told my partner Ikon that you was the first and he thought it was impressive as well. So tell us more about that as you start marketing and branding and people understood that you was the first Muslim woman to really start your own label. How did that process go for you?
Well, technically, the label speak was birthed in 2016, right? And we had began the label, set up everything. At that time I was with distribution with Sony Orchid. Um, but I went for a whole maybe 3 to 6 months or so on a hiatus, if you will, to learn the things that I didn't know that I needed to know. Read a lot of books, got out of touch with people so I can really concentrate and focus on what it is that I need to learn. And my ideal of this learning style was whatever it is that I'm learning, I need to perfect it to the point where whatever I read, I could teach it. That's how important it was to me. So I began to scale up in, you know, what are these things in all of these different departments, how they compartmentalize a label in itself. I said, however that is, I need to function at the same capacity independently. So I pretty much had a checklist of this, that, and the other, right? And once I did that, my thing was I offered all my services for free for a whole year as a part of my branding and marketing and putting myself out there. And I didn't know people had eyes on me the way that they did, to the point when I got an award in my city for promotions and that and the other. I was like, wow, I really didn't know. I really didn't know. And to be quite honest, on another thing is, as I mentioned, the birth of Neo Gold Entertainment and Records was 2016. This news in regards to me being the first of, happened, that came from a group of sisters that I congregate with in my faith, as a Muslim. And the questions and that and the other came up as we were talking about the things that I do and what I have done. And so we went on a research because a question came up, and it was like, wow, after the research came back, it was revealed. This was just revealed to us in July of 2025.
Oh wow.
Of 2025, all this time, and we didn't even know. So it's not
So
something that I was looking for. It's just something that actually just happened. So I hold that with high regards, and I'm very, very grateful.
right. So you and your sisters had no idea, and just learning this in July of 2025. That's I see why you hold it near and dear, to your space and to your heart. So, um, with that being said, I'm gonna turn it over to my brother Akani.
Well, it's something that you said when you said when people say I do anything to get to the top. And I was watching this interview the other day, and it was somebody that was in the business. I'm trying, I don't want to say the name because I can't recall which interview it was off the top of my head, but I just remember him saying something very key. And he said that a lot of time the gatekeepers, the higher ups, whoever, they're gonna offer you something, and then they're gonna see if you take it. And if you take that first thing, they're gonna offer something else, and they're gonna keep offering you certain things until you know what I'm saying, to see how far you're willing to go. So it's not the fact that at the end of the day, when people say, "Oh, I was forced to do this, was forced to do that," he said, "No, you're not forced to do anything. It's just they're gonna present it, and if you won't take it, they're gonna keep presenting something else." that you know what I'm saying that you know that most people, a lot of people may say is goes against their morals or their values. But when you say I'll do anything, they gonna try to find out, do you really mean that?
Hmm.
So you know what I mean. So it's funny that you said that, but so I want to ask you this: is as a woman in this business, we know how it is. It's always 10 times harder in any kind of capacity with women, especially black women. So how hard was it? How has it been for you, just as a woman, trying to navigate through the music industry?
Oh, it's really hard. It's really hard, and I've come up against a lot of challenges, a lot. And things can go to the left like really really fast. So yeah, you have to be careful with the words you use off your lips and stuff like that when I say anything, you know. Whereas in some spaces, respectfully, this is queen. Whereas in other spaces, yeah, this is queen, but let me see, because there's people who will just test you and try you, and the bottom line is you have to stand up and have some integrity about yourself for real. You really, really, really do. I'm the type of person, here's this. My thing is this. I come from the place of knowledge is more valuable than money, because if I get the knowledge of knowing how, I don't need your money because I can make my own.
Yeah, right, right. So having this label that you have, what keeps you going over the last like 9 years that make you not? Because we all been there when we want to give up on whatever we're doing, especially when things have those moments where it feel like impossible to kind of get through or break through or whatever. Because I know I walked away from being management, and I managed a lot of artists, but then when they got to the point where they weren't listening no more and whatever, and like I told Jacob. I'm not dealing with these hard headed little, these little YNs that don't want to listen. So what kind of keep you motivated to keep going with your label?
On them days that I felt like, oh man, look here, I don't have time for this foolishness here, for real. And one of the things that I tell an artist is this: anybody, first and foremost, I cannot want this more than you want it for yourself. Okay? Um, if I have this set up in the fashion as such that it is, it's for a reason. Either you're gonna listen and pay attention and help me get you the way you're gonna go. Because here's the bottom line: if you didn't need my help, why did you come to me? You can't tell the
That's
help
true.
how to help. You can't tell the help how to help you. So we lacking some humility here. Um, but the thing that keeps me going outside of that, King, is simply that I have to breathe and think in the moment and reflect and remember that God, the God that I serve, did not bring me this far just to drop me off just right here, just like that. So you're gonna have to dust yourself off, pull yourself together, woosah, whatever you want to call it, and keep it pushing.
Okay. So let me ask you this question. I see on your bio you've worked with and dealt with a lot of major artists and major people. So who along the way that actually gave you some advice or that you learned from throughout your years that kind of help you navigate through the industry?
Mm, I would say some of my mentors that I've had around, one in particular will be Supreme Master Wayne G. He's the leader and founder of Mighty G Force. There was a crew back in Harlem, in the day, one of the legends here in Texas. And also, my son actually, on another kind of level, he inspires me and pushes me like I don't know. To him, in his eyes, I think that he think I'm Superwoman. He's the kind of person that thinks like there's nothing that I can't do. And it amazes him because he's seen me do some things live in real time, and it's like, wow, how did you do that? You know, um, it's just that when you stick your mind to something, you're just gonna do it. Period. If you want it done bad enough, and if you want it that bad, yeah, just do it. Just do it. Don't wait on no one. Don't let no one stop you. Don't let no one hate on you. Don't let no one tell you that you can't. Who said so? Who? Who said so? That's the kind of spirit I have and that I vibe with, and first and foremost, if I respectfully to those who believe otherwise, but for me, it's just like you got to put God first, and with that, all things are just possible. And somewhere even in between there, making mistakes and even making errors, it wasn't revealed to me because it wasn't time to be revealed to me that I'm the first to do this, that, and the other. I wasn't ready for that then. So it was revealed to me when it was supposed to be, because I had to go through some things and some challenges and, some tests and all sorts of things just to get where I am right here today. And then God said, boom, now you're ready. So we can ready to go somewhere else now. Now we can ready to go somewhere else. And I have the biggest thing right now that I have the greatest opportunity to be involved with, that it actually scares me. But I also know from those that have taught me along the way, you know, um, if I'm scared to that level, then it must be something really, 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 really good. Because I tell you, I think way out there. I'm like way out there. Um, Damn. If what is the name of the organization? Like if they could be a way that if you just knew how many things that I did first, but I don't talk about them. That's I said that to say that's how my brain function and the person
Hmm.
I yeah, in the brain. I'm a total like right brain person and stuff like that. So even with music and being involved with different productions, sometimes around producers and stuff, and I guess I have to connect to the same kind of frequency for them to get me because I see music sometimes different than the average person. To me, it comes in colors and it mostly colors, sometimes shapes and things like that, or like my last experience was with a producer and this music was missing a particular sound or element that needed to be there. We both knew that, but we couldn't figure out, building that, what was it exactly that it needed. And then, after 3 or 4 takes listening, it just came to me, but it came in the form of a wiggle,
Mm.
in the form of a wiggle. But when I did it, the wiggle thing, it made a sound to it like it was like a and it came with a wiggle. He actually knew exactly what I was trying to say. He knew and went and put it together. Yeah, so I see music kind of different. And
Mm.
so it was interesting to me to see recently, like one who lives here in the hometown in the DFW is Erica Badu, right? I read and seen an interview on how she was teaching her children homeschooling, and she sees music the way that I do in shapes and colors and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, somebody else sees it like that too. I didn't know that was a thing, I just didn't know it was a thing.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jacob.
So you currently have this label. The label is growing and is going at a rapid pace. How many artists do you currently have signed to the label?
Just one, just one, just one.
Okay. So the reason why I asked you that because I went on your page, your Facebook business page, and I see these events that you do where you have all these artists that come out and all these remarkable flyers. So when you throw a event, an artist come into that artistry space of your production, um, how how do artists connect with you? And you know, I'm pretty sure artists want to sign with you all the time. So what is the process of signing with your goal entertainment? What is that process for artists?
You're kind of breaking up. You were
I think
choppy there.
I guess I think he was trying to ask what's the process of artists when they want to sign with you. What's the process of that, for you with the artists when they want to sign with
For me, I want to get out there and see the artists how they perform out in the on the stage somewhere. I want to see what they working with first. I want to be around them a little bit just to see their personality, to see if we vibe, if we connect, because I just can't work with any and everybody. And then because sooner or later, after a little while, you're gonna see who they really, really are outside of their talent. And there's just certain things, I'm just not willing to deal with. Like I said, if you need help and that and the other, I don't know, understand why you came to me if you're gonna tell me how to help you, when we can collaborate and come up with some great ideas together, that and the other, alongside my experience. And then you find some that are lazy, I was going to, and just a bunch of excuses. Or if you have the younger ones, who might be dealing with the baby mama drama and the insecurities, and it is, I'm almost 60, like, young lady, please. Okay, so um I'm
Hell
serious.
no.
I'm being
Hell no. She said,
I'm
young
being
lady, please.
I'm being
Hell
for
no.
real. I'm really being for real, So it's just like there's just certain limitations and things that I'm just so not willing to deal with. What's your background? Is you in them streets like that, like that? Because I need to be cautious of who I'm being around. Is like, yeah,
you.
I just don't take people just because.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
that actually happened to me, back when I was managing artists, man.
hmm,
He said, man, Mr. Anderson, I would like for you to manage me. I said, young fella, I can't manage you. He said, why not, sir? I said, cause you throw up them signs. Oh no, we ain't doing that. I don't throw up no signs and I don't bust no hammers. So,
hmm,
we do that. I said, y'all be on a different type time. You know, y'all be in that type
Mm-hmm.
time where y'all shoot first and ask questions later. No, sir, I can't do that. I can't do that.
we
You
can't
know.
do that. That to me, that's a liability, and that's one of the first things first that I'm always going to look at on any situation. If there's a liability factor there, that even goes to the point of understanding that if you're working with me and I'm putting you on the stage, my request, truthfully, is that if you're a person that's into indulging, I mind my business. That's what you do. That's what you do. But let's not do that until after the show. We need to get through this show because potentially you are a liability. You done took a little bit too many sips, and the cord. Oh, you done tripped over the cord. Didn't even know. Mm-mm,
Mm-hmm.
mm, mm-mm. And then if you then inhaled enough smoke, then you're not going to be at your best vocally, and that's a whole nother thing. That's why I still do artist development, and for me, artist development means let's run on the treadmill and things like that and see if you can do your song without getting out of breath. Because although I say a stage is a stage, it looks like a stage, right? But a stage will wear you out, them lights and everything else, and you'll be huffing and puffing, hot and sweating and all that. And then the average person is not trying to spend their money to come and see us perform your song for you because you're out of breath.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yeah.
I, yeah, I definitely understand that. So as far as you, are you taking submissions from artists now or no?
No, because what I'm getting ready to do um involves something of an award show. I've collaborated with someone else, Heritage Hip Hop. People should know who they are, and we're
Yeah,
working on
definitely.
the next award show for 2026, which requires knowing a lot of artists internationally and around the nation here, who's the best in every city. But not only artists, we're looking at podcasters, we're looking at producers, we're looking at engineers, we're looking at dancers, we're looking at fashion, we're looking at all the elements that embodies the culture of hip hop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what? I'm glad we're talking about hip hop. So I got two different questions that I'm gonna ask, and these questions are for you, Queen Miss K, but also brother Icon. I need you to answer too. So
Mm-hmm.
hip hop has not had a top 40 single in the last 35 years. Um, and then hip hop has no new best hip hop album nominated at the Grammys this year. And so with not having a top 40 hip hop single in the last 35 years and no is no best new hip hop album nominated at the Grammys. So do you guys think that hip hop is in a bad shape nowadays, or do you think that the digital era has ruined hip hop?
Well, you go.
Um,
You go first, Queen.
First of all, those are not the platforms for us anyway, the Grammys. Look how long it took 50 years just to bring some form of hip hop to that platform. So those are not our platforms, actually. We don't have anything. So here's once again where I'm telling you, you're going to see categories as such when we have this award show in 2026. Just what you said, because it needs to be acknowledged, and something happened for a reason. And just like that, we're no longer on those platforms on BET, with all due respect, which is actually owned by Viacom, by the way. I mean, I'm just telling the truth, so how much input really did we have in it? Another thing is it didn't cater to the new audience in the new market, which is the Gen Zs. They don't give a damn and they don't want to see that. Like, it wasn't entertaining to them. So we're gonna do something different.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's funny. It's funny you say that too.
Joy.
Oh, 'cause it's funny you say that too because me and Jacob, with our podcast, we've been a part of some great award shows. We was at the first Southern Soul Award that was created by Lee Parker a couple of years ago. So we was a part of that. We was a part of the first annual South Carolina Awards where we was doing media on that. We've been a part of the Alabama Music Awards where they have all kind of genres of music at that one. We've been a part of that twice. So the thing about it is I've always respected people who want to put on these award shows, especially when they do them the right way and and they do it with substance and the right content and the right people to be able to kind of represent us as the best way as possible. whatever. So I always, so I always commend people and think about it. I know it's a lot of hard work that goes into it, a lot of time, preparation, especially if you
Yes.
want to get the best out of it. You know what I mean? So I just respect the fact that you willing to even pull something off like that because I think that's the biggest thing with our major celebrities that could be doing this is that they don't want to put the time and effort that it would take to put on a great award show. So they wait for the so-called, the white man to do it with the Grammys and the Academy Awards. And I say that me and Jay, tell Jacob all the time. I'll tell anybody who want to listen. Yeah, when people get mad because they're not nominated in the Grammys or the Academy Awards, those awards are not for us.
Mm-mm.
You know what I'm saying? And I said, and then like you said, Viacom goes BET. But what did they finally do? They finally got rid of the hip hop awards because they're trying to kill off that genre of music altogether. So they took away that. They took away the Soul Train awards. They didn't ever really promote the Soul Train awards to begin with, like they were supposed to. You know what I'm saying? Most people didn't even know when the Soul Train awards came on. We just happened to see it after the fact. Oh, the Soul Train awards on last night. Oh, dang! I didn't know. I didn't even know. But when it comes to the grant, when it comes to the country awards and the American Music Awards and all that, they promote that stuff 3, 4, 5, 6 months out. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely commend you when it comes to basically doing all that. But what I wanted to ask you too was what does branding? What's important to branding? Because one thing that I think in this era more than anything, because like you said, Jacob, the digital era, the fact that we in this world of everything has to be streaming, 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 and if we know that you're not gonna make any money off of streaming dollars, that you gotta brand yourself in order for you to have a chance to make any real money to take care of yourself. So speak on the importance of branding.
Oh, it's super, super important. And actually, I'm trying to get there in regards to my social medias because here's the thing, I always felt for my own personal social medias, I just always just felt to believe, I don't need to, da, 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 da. But now I come to figure out, like, when you're doing certain kind of business transactions, that is a thing, and people are outside of yourself in regards to business. They look for that, So any product, whether we're talking about music or anything else, is always going to be in this day and time in regards to marketing and branding. How it's going now, it's 10% the product, 90% of it is the branding and the social media and everything else. So you have to be involved to see really how to get yourself everywhere, everywhere. What I'm really glad to see though, surprisingly, is a little twist, a little turnaround coming back around, whereas though where I see, I like to, if you will, call it like the new 90s, if you will, in regards to the fashion, the music, and even albums. Albums are beginning to sell again. People are really wanting to go buy an album.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right.
Which is
You're right.
great,
You're right.
which is great. And I think the most remarkable thing about branding, like you stated, Icon, we don't make any money off streaming, artists don't. But the most remarkable thing about branding is people don't know that movie supervisors look at artists that know how to brand themselves, and so they actually reach out to artists for TV, film, documentary, music, for the music to be placed in documentaries and video games and stuff like that, and understanding how to sync your music so you can get picked up by a music supervisor. You know, your music can get licensed, and artists got to understand a part of your branding is really trademarking your name, because when
Trademark.
people, yeah, people look you up and they see that name is trademark, that hit different, and that allows the artist to create a better stream of revenue and to get more money. And so, branding comes in a form of, with your trademark, with your copyrights, um, with you catering to a certain type of artist. And not only that, artists need to learn how to make songs for people who have nonprofits, because they can use your song in that nonprofit commercial for a theme song, and you get paid that way too, because that's a form of licensing.
So that's why it's important to trademark your name, your businesses, and everything that goes with it. So when you're involved with these sync situations with licensings where you can earn from it, it's not just that product in itself, it's the whole entire brand. The likes of the name, the pictures, everything alike. Yes, that's a payment right there. That is a payment.
Hmm. Hmm. And you know what's funny you say about with the marketing and the branding and stuff? Because if you look at somebody like Ludacris, when Ludacris had like the braids and the stuff, and then when he cut everything off, you know what I'm saying? He started getting these big movie roles and stuff, these movie
Hmm.
deals. Because a lot of times when I tell people like if that's your ambition to be able to get in more movies and television and all that kind of stuff, white people scared when they see a black man walk up with the dreads and the braids because they're automatically assuming, he in the streets or he did some prison time or whatever the case may be. They automatically gonna have an assumption or
Hmm.
whatever. So and then when you see the people with the tattoos on their face, and it's like, how do you feel like you're gonna ever really get where you want to go? Why would you tat your face up? I'm all for expression, but why would you tat your face up when that's gonna limit you from, opportunities that you could have? You know what I mean? If you missed out on because they can't make you the number one star in a movie or a television show if your face is tatted up. You know what I mean? So stuff like that, there's those little things like that, can hold you back from making that extra $5 or $10 million you could have been making. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And whatever. So I think this generation has to understand that too. I remember the kid off of if you ever watched the Hewley show, and the little kid off the Hewleys, if you see him now, his whole face is tatted. And he said, well, when he got to the point he started getting involved with some gangs and stuff after the show, and when he thought that he would never really get back in television, that was his way of being rebellious towards the industry and toward whatever, and towards his family or whatever. But at this point, they can't do nothing with him because of that whole thing. And when I say tatted, I mean his whole face is covered. You can't even see his skin. You know what I mean? That's how bad it is. So
Wow. That's
so
a
that
mess.
That's
that's just
crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy.
mhm. Yeah. So
But
so
Insane.
that's how this Generation Z though. That's how they think though. Like for them there are no rules. They have no rules. They do whatever they want, how they want to. They don't kind of like think it all the way out. They just do it and then deal with it later if something happens different. That's what I find in the Z's.
yeah, yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on tonight. Wish we had more time. We definitely want to get you back on because we want to definitely get into some. We had a guest last time on our sports show, and we like to get into mental health stuff too. So we definitely want to have you come back on another time to get more into those mental health conversations because that's something that's definitely needed in this time in this era. So I'm gonna definitely have King Jacob reach back out to you when we do an episode on the mental health part of this the industry and life because we got a lot of kids, young people, taking their own lives and going through a lot of trauma, what I mean, that they might have never dealt with as kids, and then you know how it is. You get in this industry with already built in trauma, it
Hmm.
may take you out because it's a lot of stuff that going in this industry that you may not be ready for if you're not mentally strong. You know
Exactly.
what I
So
mean?
I have my certifications for the youth and adults as well. Um, the organization, non for profit that I partnered with and received my certifications is actually partnered with the NFL. So that'll be great for me to come back and revisit this platform, and it's all about helping the people free their mind and learning how to. Yeah, very, very, very important because these children, these youth out here are not making good decisions, and the consequences are severe and really, really, really heavy. And a lot of the times they just need somebody to talk to.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, so just go ahead and give it with any kind of, information you want to give out to the people, all your organizations, your label, your branding. So just give everybody all your info.
Okay, so basically management, MGMT at neogoldent.com is how you can get in contact with me. I'm on social media as Khalilah Washington. Uh, I think I'm the only Khalilah Washington on there. Miss K, one Miss Khalilah 151 on the Instagrams and all that other stuff. I don't use that much, but we trying to get it going there. But for the most part, the website and Heritage Hip Hop, TML, Media Loops, and Melodic Management. Yeah, and to my special group of people. So yeah, that's our team. We're gonna be traveling around and see who get these categories for these awards. It might be you guys. It might be you guys.
Well, well, well,
Yeah,
whatever it is,
I'm serious. It
we
might
most
be you
appreciative of whatever. Yes, so yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All
guys.
right. Yes, ma'am.
Something for everybody. Love to you all. Salute to you, Kings, and thank you so
Yeah,
much for having me. Thank you.
yeah,
Anytime.
no problem.
And before we get out, I would like to say salute to MJ for making this plug for us. And MJ, salute to you. We appreciate you.
Best publicist around, MJ.
Yes,
That's right. That's my girl.
yes,
Thank
ma'am. All
you.
right. Well, I appreciate you. You have a blessed week, and you continue to strive. And whatever you need, if you need anything from us, don't hesitate to reach out.
Will do. Thank you.
All right.
And the
You're
same to
welcome.
you as well. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. All right.
Peace and
Good night.
blessings.
Peace and blessings.
Brown skin girl, and she knew I was out to go and clear my mind. The girl she's